Hello, 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 beautiful people. We are back. We are back and we are streaming live to LinkedIn as well as YouTube. And I am excited to have anyone who is with me live today. I love, love, love the opportunity to be able to engage with folks who are here with me live or those folks who listen on the replay. We know lots of you guys listen on the replay, and I love that for us. I love it for me. I love it for you. I love it for us. So, I wanted to just welcome back those who were a part of our series, talking about performance reviews. Do we want to close the year strong, or were we focusing on scrapping it and keeping our face in our front to 2024? So, welcome back. My name is Leah Murphy. I am the CEO and founder of Career Gems for the Journey, where we help talented professionals build thriving careers. So, love, love, love the discussion on performance reviews. And not only did it create a couple of questions, but we talked a little bit in the last time that we were together. And I have some new information for you. I got some facts. I try to bring all the receipts because folks reached out with questions and curiosities. And I was like, okay, good. The right things are happening. We're having the right dialogue. So if you're with me live, please do drop your city in the chat. I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that I can keep up with the comments. Oftentimes, I am trying to make sure that I don't get ahead of myself, living in my authentic truth. I get super excited talking about this. I get super excited to be able to add value and drop gems that you can apply to your career. So sometimes, honestly, authentic truth, I miss some of the comments that you guys drop. So I'm going to take my time to make sure that anyone who's joining us live can drop their city in the chat, and then I can let them know, shout them out, appreciate them for being here live. And if you are on the replay, you can also drop a comment in the chat. Would love to hear from you. There is really, really some rich, rich, rich information that I wanted to make sure that we got through today. But before we do that, there were a couple of follow-ups, right? So a couple of follow-ups that from the last time that we were together. And for those who are joining us for the first time or weren't a part of our series, we talked about performance appraisals and how those appraisals have a direct impact on your career, and also how those performance appraisals have a direct impact on your strategy, right? How can you leverage performance appraisals in order to get what you need in your career? As you guys who have been with me for a really long time know, I believe that all things career and all things work should be mutually beneficial arrangements. Mutually beneficial arrangement. That means something good should be coming from both sides of the equation. And when both sides of the equation are getting something out of it, then we know it's mutually beneficial. And that is how I believe you can have a career that you enjoy, that thrives, that allows you to flourish. So I want to make sure that I remind us of that, right? So when we think about mutually beneficial arrangements, thinking about performance appraisals as a way to create value and to create leverage for yourself is such an important part of the strategy. And I just want to make sure that we, oh my goodness, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, right? When we think about how to approach performance appraisal end of the year season. Now we are winding down and the year is almost closing at the time of this recording, but there are still some things that I want us to just chew on, right? Like I want them to kind of roll around in our minds for a little while. We don't need to take action immediately. I understand that folks are winding down and going into more what should be a focused on outside of work, day-to-day things. So I'm going to make sure that I don't give you any homework on this go around. I'm not going to give you any homework, but I'm going to give you some thinking to do. Because just because the calendar year is over doesn't mean that there isn't strategies, opportunities, things that we could do. And it also means that it allows a space for deep thought and rest, right? I believe we can have both. I want us to have both. I'm certainly going to have both, and I want that for you too. So it looks like Lisa is joining us from Dallas. Welcome, Lisa. Great to have you back with us. Lisa's been riding with us for a while, so really excited. Anybody else who's joining me live, please do drop your city in the chat. So I'm looking at my notes here because there's a couple things that I want to make sure that we do. One, as we talked about performance appraisals, it reminded me of something that I like to work through in my own strategic career approach. And it really reminded me that we should be doing things that we're passionate about, that we enjoy, but also things that are a little bit risky, that kind of force us to step outside of our comfort zone and force us to grow. So many of you will have seen the post that I signed on to do an anthology for an anthology of authors for Triumph in the Trenches. So Triumph in the Trenches is this amazing idea that Elizabeth and Alona both collaborated on, and Elizabeth Leiba, who is the author of I'm Not Yelling, which I've talked about on other lives. Like, you should read that book. Hard stop. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter what your experience is, doesn't matter where you are in your career or where you sit in corporate organizations, nonprofit leadership, academia. It doesn't matter. You should read the book. So she put out a call asking for authors for this collaboration, which now has grown into this anthology of talented authors that are going to write this book that's going to be titled Triumph in the Trenches. And it's specifically speaking about the experience that we as the global majority are having in the workplace. So, that is like right up my alley. It was right up my alley. So when I saw it, I immediately thought I wanted to do it. But it also came along with all the other things that come with taking on something that's brand new, that's unique, that is a collaboration that could grow really big outside of what you already know in your mind. So I took the risk. I put my name in the hat to sign up to be a part of the anthology, and they picked me. So it has so far been a really great experience, and that book will actually be published in February of 2024. So like, that's really, really soon. So I'm still finishing the portion that I'm responsible for, my chapter. I'm still finishing working on that, but like, such a big, hairy, audacious goal, to use words from my friend Amir Ganad, who had actually mentored me, but a big, hairy, audacious goal, because you set these things out there kind of in the atmosphere. I set some really ambitious goals for myself in 2023, and then this opportunity showed up. So I want to take it. I want to wrap my arms around it. It does not mean that I am not scared. It does not mean that I don't get nervous. It does not mean that I don't have to make some other things work in order to do it. It just means I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm going to take the step forward. All the things that I really encourage you all to do here on the live, as well as on the Career Gems for the Journey podcast. So super, super, super excited to do that collaboration and partner. We're going to bring some of the other authors who are also a part of that collaboration onto live, as well as onto the Career Gems for the Journey podcast. So I would love, 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 love for you guys to be here when we do collaborate on that live opportunity. And I want to make sure that as we think about it, I just checked in my notes here, because I also have a link, and the link should be showing up if you're with me on YouTube, or if you're with me on LinkedIn. I want to make sure that you all join the mailing list. We have a mailing list. There's two things that's happening. One is we're deciding the content for 2024. My team is in the background building out some amazing resources, but I also wanted to give you a chance to take the survey. So the survey that you're seeing, or that you will see if you follow me on LinkedIn, is asking the question, basically, what are you looking for? What more do you want to hear from me going into 2024? So it gives you an option for 4 topics that we're going to dig deeper into. Those topics are much, 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 much more connected to career, as well as, right? It's like the career plus option. So we talk about entrepreneurship. There's a potential to talk about, amazing books and reading that I'm doing as someone who is an author and writing a book. I'm constantly reading and getting new information and getting new research and articles. So I want to make sure that if that's something you guys are interested in, that I can share those. It's also an opportunity to kind of talk about how my perspective on career and executive coaching and team building has been shaped. So there are some life-changing experiences and events that have happened that really set me on this trajectory. And I want to make sure that you guys get to hear about those things too, if that's something that's interesting to you. And then I want to talk about the things that I struggle with, right? There's a potential to ask questions of myself, And a lot of times for those of us who kind of sit on this side of the camera and are giving advice or giving resources or doing the work to add value, there could be this perception that we don't have anything that challenges us, right? We don't have anything that we struggle with. And I'm just here to tell you it's absolutely not true. So I think talking about the things that we struggle with, naming them, giving them, a clear place as something that needs to be acknowledged, but at the same time, focusing on how I can strategically work around those things or how I can partner with other people who compensate in the areas where I may be weaker. Those are all a part of the broader career strategy. So I wanted to just get some feedback from you all. Take the survey, please. Share the link when you do. If you're watching this and you're like, hey, I know some other people who have been on the live before. I want to make sure that they participate in the survey. Would love your help in getting the survey out far and wide, because it helps us to make sure that the content that we are bringing for you meets your needs, right? And meets your interests, so that we can make sure we build this platform together and we continue to add value for you. So please do take the survey. The other thing, oh my gosh, there's so many things as we close out 2023. The link that you see here on the screen, which is gemsforthejourney.org/promogems, use this link to join our newsletter mailing list. So the newsletter mailing list is kind of our private group, those who have taken the extra step to directly connect with us off platform, off LinkedIn, off YouTube, directly on my website at gemsforthejourney.org/promogems. Use that link to join our newsletter mailing list, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. The things that are going to be coming out exclusively to the newsletter mailing list in 2023, as we close 2023 and open 2024, like fire, like absolute fire. So I want to make sure that you guys do that. That link is right here on the screen. And if you are listening to this on the replay or you're in podcast mode, you can find the link at www.gemsforthejourney.org/promogems. Promogems, like short for promotion and gems. Gemsforthejourney.org/promogems. So had to get all of that out of the way. Had to announce the anthology. Oh, so excited. Going to be amazing. That's going to be part of some of the information that comes out strictly to the newsletter community. You're going to get early takes. You're going to get builds for the books. You're going to get exclusive content with other anthologists. You're also going to get an opportunity to get that book, The Triumph in the Trenches, as well as Salary Power Moves, Winning the Compensation Negotiation, together. Like, it's about to be all the things. So please go ahead and join the newsletter list so that you don't miss out on those exclusive opportunities and offers that are just going to our newsletter community. And then I wanted to circle back, right? So I told you guys I'm going to come with some receipts. First, I said we were going to do some calculations to decide if going the extra mile is going to be worth it. I am going to provide those calculations to everyone who DMs me and joins the mailing list, the newsletter list here. So if you DM me to say that you are joining the newsletter list, or you ask me for the link to join the newsletter list and then you join, everyone who joins the newsletter list will get that calculation. It'll be a one-pager that'll help give you some perspective on if going that extra mile is worth it, is the mathing. So it's going to be something that is useful and a great reference tool. The other thing is, if you're deciding, right? So you heard all of the content on performance appraisals and it gave you some perspective. Some of it completely aligned with your experience. Some of it was things that you hadn't really tapped into or thought of. If you're deciding how to strategically make choices in your current organization, or you're thinking about moving into a new organization and you work in corporate America, nonprofit leadership, or academia, I have this resource that I have found to be so insightful, because there's a lot of fear and trepidation for folks when you're deciding to make a transition or you're trying to decide what your next move is in your career. That fear is real. It is absolutely real. The part that always encourages me is when you feel like you have the potential of your career in your hands versus leaving it in the hands of a company or an organization, or having some organizational faith that you keeping your head down is going to get you to the next opportunity. I really want to give you some evidence that this is the right way to approach it, which is having your career in your own hands and deciding what moves, what puts and takes are going to make sense for you. That's not greedy, that's not selfish, that's standard. That's standard. That's the new standard. And let me tell you why it's the new standard. There's a book. The book is called The Man Who Broke Capitalism. And it's about Jack Welch, who is the former CEO of General Electric. Now, General Electric is a legacy organization in the US and internationally. And as you think about, what you're trying to decide to do in the next season, the context for someone like Jack Welch, who was a former CEO of an American legacy company and then ended up being the most valuable company on the stock exchange for a period in time, and how leaders and CEOs use organization and corporate decision making to guide your career and guide the company. It literally blew my mind because it answered so many questions or so many thought bubbles that popped up for me. So David Gelles, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I want to make sure I'm saying that right. David Gelles, who is a journalist and a New York Times author. He's a journalist for the New York Times and an author. Wrote this book, The Man Who Broke Capitalism, which is a story about Jack Welch's career while he was the CEO of GE. I can already see eyes glazing over. I can see it, right? Because it's like, man, I don't want to hear about that. That's not going to be that exciting. That's not, certainly not spicy. No, it's not. It is not. Reading that book is actually, or listening to the book on Audible or whatever platform you choose, is actually intel gathering. It's research for you thinking about how to navigate your career strategy. Because it talks about not just Jack Welch and GE, but other CEOs who he trained. Likely those CEOs have touched an organization or a company that you have either worked for or aspire to work for. Because his reach was so amazing at that time. From the time he took the helm of GE until the time that he retired, there was such a huge shift that happened in the corporate perspective around layoffs, around restructuring, around share price, around shareholders and what our responsibility is to shareholders. It was such a jam-packed resource. The book was phenomenal. I recommended it to many, many, many of my clients. I want you to take advantage of it. Grab a copy of that book as you're thinking about, how do I decide whether or not I want to stay in an organization, or how do I decide if I want to remain loyal to an organization? And has my time in this organization been good for me? Has it been a mutually beneficial arrangement, or has it not been good for me? And I need to think about how to get into a place that is better, that will better suit my needs. Read the book. Read the book, y'all. So I really wanted to make sure that I got that out to as many people as are going to listen to it. And once you read it, please, please, please come back and comment. Please come back, drop me a comment. Once you even get through the second chapter, which is called Neutron Jack. If you get through the second chapter and your perspective on organizations remains the same, then great, keep going. If you get through the second chapter and you already are starting to feel the shift on, wow, I'm seeing things a little bit differently, and I'm seeing my organization and decisions the organization makes differently, I want to hear the comment, because I really, 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 is one of my perspective shifting reads, right? So as we think about content, you dropping the survey, you participating in the survey that I just shared the link to, or that's in my LinkedIn in my last post, this is one of them. Like, I'm giving you guys early access to it. I'm going to go deeper after the new year, but tying the performance appraisal content and what we already shared and the perspective of The Man Who Broke Capitalism is a really powerful combination as you are reflecting, closing out 2023 and deciding what your strategy is going to be for 2024. How do you want to move forward? So please do. And when you read it, please come back and give me a comment. And then the last thing for today, before I let you all go, because I've already held you for a little bit and it's been dense. You guys know I like to keep these short so that they are palatable and you guys can go and take action immediately after listening and start to apply these career gems. The last one is I have to make an audacious, over the top recommendation that everyone go and watch the show Black Cake. So the show Black Cake is on Hulu. It's based on a book. The book, I have not read the book yet, but y'all know I'm a reader, so it's coming. I haven't read the book yet, but I started watching the show based on a recommendation from my cousin Shauna. Shout out to you, Shauna, for recommending Black Cake. It is such a robust and rich and colorful story with drama and triumph and great energy and perspective on you making strategic career moves in your life. I mean, they cover all of the bases. The show Black Cake is actually executive produced by none other than Auntie Oprah. Oprah Winfrey is actually the executive producer of the show. And I'm looking down here because it's based on a book by Charmaine Wilkerson. And Charmaine Wilkerson was the original author. She is a Jamaican immigrant. I mean, you have to watch it. Like we're going to have a conversation about it. I have not finished it yet. I think all of the episodes are up and available on Hulu for season 1. I plan to continue binge watching it. I actually am dragging my husband into it because there was this dialogue that happened in the last episode around career and around taking up space and around making decisions and being burnt out that I just felt like I had to bring to this platform. So please do. Now, I did give you guys a little bit of homework. Right now, you got a little bit of stuff to do in the meantime while you're preparing for your end of the year and doing whatever comes along with your December holiday celebration or not. But you got a little bit of homework to do because when we get into 2024, we are coming in hot. Do you hear me? We are coming in hot. So this actually is going to be our last LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live for 2023 because we are going to take it down on this side at Career Gems for the Journey and come back to you guys in 2024 with brand new, rich, developed content that is going to be exactly what you're looking for as it comes to career. So we don't want you to miss that. But as you're down, as it's quiet on the platforms for a little while, we wanted to encourage you to go and listen to the Career Gems for the Journey podcast. You can always find us there on any listening platform. And you can go back into the repository. There are years worth of episodes that we're talking about career, and we're really unpacking some of the strategies as well as some of the frustrations, some of the pain points that come along with career. So it's a podcast full of authentic stories of career wins and career lessons. And I want to make sure that you guys take advantage of that while we're away. And then we will be back. We'll be back to see you in the beginning of 2024. And we'll be celebrating at the beginning of 2024, not just the new year, but I'm going to keep it a little bit of a secret. But there's going to be some amazing things that are happening in the very beginning of January 2024. And then following in February, the book Triumph in the Trenches is going to be published. So so many amazing things are happening, and I want to make sure you are all here with me to do that. So use the link below to join our newsletter mailing list, because then you will be the first to know all of the exclusive things that are happening over here. And then take advantage to take the survey so that you can have your vote can matter and you can have a perspective on the content that you see coming out in 2024. So, hot. I'm going to recap for you guys. Number 1, I want to make sure you are all aware of the anthology announcement, Triumph in the Trenches. It's going to be a fire experience. Get ready to grab your copy of that book in February of 2024. Number 2, one of the transformational readings, perspective shifting readings that could have a direct impact on your strategy and how you see your organization and decisions made in your organization is The Man Who Broke Capitalism by Jack Welch, who is the former CEO of GE. That book is by David Gels. Please take advantage. Start reading that. Listen to it on Audible. It's dense, but it is great research as you're thinking about what your strategy is going to be. And then last, take advantage. If you are a Hulu subscriber or if you're not, and you can figure out how to make it happen, call a friend, go ahead and go and watch Black Cake on Hulu. Not only is it a beautiful story, it gives you some perspective on career. It really taps into all of these critical areas that I'm just so influenced by the show. It's been such a good experience. Visually, they're doing great work, and we are going to bring in some of the sentiments around career. So I want you to take advantage of that. That is your homework until we are back together in January of 2024. It has been amazing being with you today and through the rest of this year going into 2024. I look forward to reconnecting with you all then. You can find us again on gemsforthejourney.org if you're looking for additional resources, or tap into the Career Gems for the Journey podcast while we are off live for a little while. So I'll be back the first week in January of 2024, and I'll be ready to drop some more gems and to hear from you, our community. So I'm looking forward to doing that. We will stay at our 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time spot. This is our spot. This is it. The 12 o'clock Eastern Time is our spot. It's been vibing, and I'm excited for that. And then we'll be back live on Tuesday, January 2nd. So join us back here live Tuesday, January 2nd at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will be back with Career Gems for the Journey live. And I am looking forward to seeing you all there. Thanks so much for riding with us. I'll talk to you guys in the new year.